Hey everybody, it's Jason with JERC. How's everybody doing today? Today we got the Axial Ryft and we got some new parts to put on the Axial Ryft. I have here the new TREAL front axle for the Axial Ryft. Alright, so in this video I'm going to take this apart, or take this out, put it together. I haven't taken it apart yet, so I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and swap out the front end and see how it looks, see how it functions, and kind of go from there. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll open up the bag here. Just got these in the other day from TREAL. They're getting ready to release them, and they wanted to try to check them out and see how they do. So they asked if I would do a video on it. That, and to kind of give people an idea of how to do it. I haven't done it yet. I haven't taken it apart, so this will be a first thing for me. But again, if you're a fan of their LMT parts, their TRX 4, SCX10, all that stuff, if you're a fan of those, I think you're gonna like these. The fit, for the finish and everything on is really nice and solid, just like everything else that I've had of theirs. It looks really nice. And what you don't see on here are the lower link and shock mounts, which they are working on right now to come out with. They're also working on the rear end for this. This is just the front end, so we'll see how this goes together and kind of get an idea what we're looking at when the rear end comes in. What you get in the bag is obviously the axle. You get some stickers, as always. You get some new hardware, and you get some fresh bearings. And by the looks of it, and from their reputation, they're probably oversized, which is good. So we'll go ahead and tear into that. So we'll go ahead and start taking this apart. I apologize, this ain't a live. I wanted to do a live on this, but I was not able to at the time. But you may see this before or after they're released. I don't know. Depends on when I got the word to go ahead and show it. Let's see. So I'll be getting this done. Once this is done, I'm actually going to be testing out this and some stuff on my LMT that I just put on, which will be in another video for the LMTs. So since we're going to keep basically the steering links and everything intact, I'm just going out on a limb here on how to take this apart. Because like I said, I haven't messed with this prior to the video. I literally just took it out of the bag and doing this video. So taking the hex off, you got the disc brake, which really doesn't need to come off there. It looks like, okay, there's pins in there that hold that on. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Take the nut off. Take the bolts out of here. So I'm really excited to know. And someone calling me. Alright, sorry about that. So, that screws out. And the screws hold these pins in. And then the pins just slide on right out. Let me move my light so I can see. Alright, so just a set of needle nose pliers. Pull the pins out. So the screws are actually just a captive screw. It keeps the pin from coming out. Alright, get all 4 of those out. Then pop the axles out. Go ahead and take them out. There's some pretty heavy duty axles in there. Too bad they don't do that for the SMT10. Alright, so just go ahead and take all this off as one piece. Leave the disc brakes on there because you don't need them, or you don't need to take them off, rather. Go ahead, start taking the shock screws out and your lower links, because you will be taking this off and putting it on the TREAL axles. But you need to get in here to the screws that hold it on. Actually, they go in through the front, so it doesn't really matter. And they are coming out with, from what I heard, they are coming out with the back pieces for that. I'm not sure what the timeline is on it, but they should be having a complete drivetrain coming out for this eventually. I don't know if it'll be quite like the LMT where basically everything is replaced, but I do know they're coming out with some more parts for it. Alright, so now we got that off the truck. Just move the truck out of the way there. Alright, take the drive shaft apart. It's got a nice heavy duty pin that goes through there. Let's go ahead and take that out. A little bit different than the hex nuts for the wheels, which are 12 millimeters, by the way. Then we'll go ahead, switch out our bit. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the servo on here because I'm not going to be using this servo. I'm actually going to be putting a Demon servo in it. It's a 60 kg servo that I have, and I use them on all my LMTs. So basically we're just taking this apart to get the gears out of it to swap over to the other truck. So the way this is oriented, you can see the gears are on the stub side of the axle. So just remember that when you put them back in. Pop that out. Go ahead and take your pinion out. And it's good idea just to be careful when you take this apart, just in case there are any pre-installed shims. Because if they're pre-installed on there, it's a good likelihood that you might want to use them when you put the new axle back together. Alright, we got the cover off of there. And drop these screws out. And we'll go ahead and get to the bearings. So, just like here, the big bearing goes inside first. These are probably going to be a snug fit like they are on most of the other stuff. Just set it in there. And then I just take a socket wrench. There we go. Alright, pop down in there so it goes all the way down inside there. Alright, then we have 3 more bearings. Let me see which one of these. They all look so similar in size. And there is no instructions for it. So it's best just kind of play it by ear. And I don't know why I did that. But let's see here. Gotta crank up the AC. Oh, these 3D printers and this light's going on. A lot of heat. Alright, so like I said, there is no instructions for this, but that's kind of why I'm doing this, is to help people out. Alright, so got these 3 bearings. They're all 3 the same. So one is going to go in there, and then it appears, yep, these have bearings in there too. So these bearings are going to go inside here, like that. And it's kind of weird because the angle, if you notice the angle of the head, so the bearing goes in straight. It looks kind of crooked when you're putting it in there, so just be careful that you don't push it in the wrong way and wedge it. But it goes in there just like that. Alright. Now, we'll go ahead and drop the pinion into it. And then I'm using Maxima grease, waterproof grease. There's already some grease on it, but I like to put a good bit in here because chances are this thing will see all different kinds of driving conditions. So anything from dirt to mud. And I'm sure up north in the snow in the winter when it's snowing up there. So now again, you're gonna remember you want your gear to go in on the stub side, on the stubby side, and then just gonna pack it with some grease. You know, some people might say it's too much, you shouldn't put that much, but hey, you do you. It doesn't matter if it oozes out a little bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and put the cover on. Go ahead and tighten down the bolts, make sure that we have good clearance. Oh yeah, nice and smooth. Very nice. Alright. Yeah, I'll go ahead and leave these as they are. Normally I would go through and put stainless in all this. You know what? I'm going to, just because I don't want it to be a problem later. And I don't want to have to take it apart again later. So we'll go ahead and work it back together with some stainless screws. And these are M3 by 16 on the screws. Okay. Now it's tight with the driver. Go ahead and give them. And you can Loctite these. I'm not going to, just because of the amount of abuse I want to put it through. Hopefully I won't strip out a diff, but I'm not sure about these axles and the not the axle, but I'm not sure about the gears and stuff, how well they are. They look pretty good, but I don't want to take the chances. Alright, so we got that back together. Since we got that, I'll go ahead and put the drive shaft back in. This I am going to Loctite with some blue Loctite, because I don't want the shaft coming off. Alright. It goes pretty much all the way through. I could have used a little bit longer threaded part, because only about half of it's actually threaded in because it goes so far through. What do I want to do next? Yeah, so this little pot metal pot metal cover, I will go ahead and I'll take the shock mounts, or the lower link mounts, off. And put those in a bag. Alright, so I just took off the long side. So I'm going to put this back on the long side. Alright. These, be careful if you use a drill or a driver. It's good practice not to go all the way with them, or just have your torque down low like I do. Alright, so that's one side. So I'm sure if anybody has Vidivon, you guys can kind of speak to those and how much they might differ from these, if you get these or not. I don't know. I like the TREAL one. I mean, I sell this stuff, but I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't like it. And I've got stuff for my TRX4. I got stuff for my Traxxas Max. All my LMTs are running TREAL stuff. Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's the quality and the craftsmanship of it is second to none that I've seen. I know others will beg to differ because, for whatever reason, but just, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Alright, so got the trailing arm shock mounts installed. We'll go ahead and do the drive shafts. What I'm going to do with the drive shafts is I'm going to dip them in the grease, just like so, and then stick them in. You're going to go in there past the bearing, and then you want to kind of spin it, there you go, spin it around until you find that it falls in the spot. Same thing with the long one. Drop it in until it finds a spot. And now for the steering linkage and the knuckles. Alright. And they should be coming out with some of these as well. I don't know when, but hopefully before too awful long. And I'm not sure how they're gonna look or how they're gonna attach. I know with the LMTs they had it threaded, but by the way these look, these pins are more than sufficient. Especially when you're using the locking screw that goes in over top of them. Keeps them from backing out, and it'd be really hard to strip one of these screws out to the point where the pin will fall out, because there's no real forces acting on these screws. In theory they shouldn't back out, but anything's possible. Alright, so that side's in, and then do this side. You just stick the axle through. So you can just stick it through, you kind of bend it, push the head of the shaft through, and then line all this stuff up. Kind of turn it a little bit and get it to fall in. There we go. Then push it back in, and all done. Put your guide pins in. And actually, I have, I'll show you guys here in a little bit, towards the end, I actually put some of the axial, well, my, what's the word I'm looking for? My trailing arms, I put on the back and flipped the bracket over for the mount, and it worked out really well. It's a little, it's just a hair short. Just a hair short, but when you move the axles up and down, you can't even tell. Those are a little bit too long. Just trying to use stainless steel, but 6 millimeters is too long, so I'll revert back to the black ones. Kicked one around here somewhere. I don't know where it went. So, but I guarantee it'll be the last place I look. Go on the floor over here, see what we got. And nothing. Got too much stuff rolling around here on the desk. Alright. Well, I'm going to have to find that at some point, but that will not stop us from moving forward. Alright, so I'm going to get my, actually I got my Demon servo. The Demon servo is already on the truck. That's what I'm using, 60 kg, 8.4 volts, and there are the trailing arms that I put on there, and I have these available on my site. If you like the way they look, they said they work really well. I'm working on a sway bar system, but I'm sure somebody will come out with one before I get one out. But hey, it is what it is. More power to them. So anyways, so we got all that back together. We can go ahead and mount this back up to the truck. So you want to remember to put your drive shaft coupler back in. We'll take the lower links. I'm guessing these are threaded. Yep. Well, that's right, these are the stock ones anyway, so what am I talking about? Alright, so you do get a bag of goodies, one of which being the top part here for your upper links. Alright. And this requires a lock nut. They have washers as well, but I'm just using a lock nut. So all in all, this thing goes, I mean, the axles go together relatively simple. Not really much to it at all. Just make sure that you know what your parts are, where they came from, and where they go. And that way everything goes back smooth. You don't have any issues. I don't have a price point on these as of doing this video. I guess they're still working on that, but I would expect that should be out before too long, because they're waiting to release these when the rears come out. They don't want to do them. They don't want to do them separately, and I can't say that I blame them, but so I'm not sure how many of these are out in the world right now, or who's got them. They asked if I would do a video, kind of a demo, and showing off the product itself. And of course, as I said before, I deal in their parts and everything, so I was happy to oblige. Alright, so that's two screws that walked. Oh no, there it is. So it's still only one that walked. Ouch. Drew a little blood. Pulled my nail back. Alright. The edge of these rod ends, the balls, are very sharp edges. And it's not wanting to go back in there for me. Really? Come on. This was supposed to be a quick video. There. Oh, there's lights on me. Sweating like a pig. Finally got it. Or not. Alright. There we go. Not wanting to play nice. Ah, great. I gotta take this back off. Get my servo wire back in the right place. Nothing like doing rework. Alright. Oh man. I'm such an idiot. The servo enters from the front. Oh, phew, there we go. That'll work too. I thought I was in trouble there for a minute. Alright, so servo's in. You got washers. Go ahead and put those on. Put these in the servo holes. Hopefully get this out this weekend if the weather holds up. We will try and go tear something up. And I don't have a rear axle, so I'm guessing the rear axle is going to be one of the things that I break. Shouldn't be the trailing arms, because I put my trailing arms on there. It shouldn't be the front axle, because I got the metal TREAL axle. So I'm betting it's going to be a rod end or some rod ends and the rear axle. Get those in there. Snug them up a little bit. Go ahead and put our wheel hexes back on. The hexes are pretty neat. They actually notch into the brake disc there and pop right in there. That's pretty different for sure. And I don't really, I could Loctite these, but with the hex nut on there and the wheel on there, I seriously doubt it's going to go anywhere. So I usually don't put Loctite on axle screws, or at least for the hex nuts I don't. Alright, now let me see. I do not have any more TREAL servo savers. So I will probably have to rob one off of another vehicle. But we will go ahead and get the wheels and stuff put back on it. Needs to use an 8mm socket for the screws. This M5 with a hat band or flange and a nylock. So it's got two things going for it to help hold it on the wheel, or hold the wheel on the truck. I really wish I would have had more TREAL servo savers, but I sold out those pretty quick. So there we have it. You kind of see the finish of it, the detail. And again, I got the Demon 60 kilo servo. So all in all, and then there's the trailing arms. Alright, also on this, when I went ahead and swapped out the servo, while I was in there, I went ahead and put a 3200 kV motor on it from one of my takeoffs for the LMT that come with the LMT. So it'll be interesting to see how that does with the gearing, and on 3S without changing anything else, just putting that 3200 kV motor in there. I'm thinking it's probably going to be alright, but I guess we will have to wait and see. But all in all, TREAL's coming through with some more goodies. I can't wait to see the rest of the stuff that comes out, the rear axles and anything else that they may have in the works. I know of a couple things, but I can't say anything about them at this time. But hopefully we'll see them hit the street here before too long. And when I get them, or if I get them, or when I get them, you guys will be the first to know about it. So stay tuned. Check out my Facebook page at JERRC. You can find all the stuff for this and LMT and SMT stuff that I sell at jercustomdesigns.com/shop. You see at the bottom of your screen. And hit me up if you got any questions. If there's anything you guys think you might want to see on this truck or any other truck that I deal with, LMT, SMT, the Ryft, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Either myself or maybe TREAL or somebody else will come out with something. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Stay tuned for more. If you're on YouTube, share, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Facebook, share the content if you like, and get the word out. So stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see you in the next one.